won't believe how Chevrolet transformed the Monte Carlo in 1980. A car that once ruled the streets with its luxurious yet aggressive stance suddenly faced a new era of automotive regulations. But did it survive the test of time? Or did Chevrolet's changes strip away its soul? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just see this classic in a whole new light. The Chevrolet Monte Carlo was already a legend by the time the 1980 model hit the scene. Originally introduced in 1970 as a personal luxury coupe, it blended performance with elegance, making it a favorite among car enthusiasts. But the turn of the decade brought new challenges. The late 70s fuel crisis and stricter emission regulations forced automakers to rethink their approach. And the Monte Carlo, it wasn't spared from this shift. So, what changed in 1980? First, the car received a design refresh. It retained the classic long hood, short deck proportions, but the lines became sharper and more squared off, embracing the boxy aesthetic of the time. The grille was revised with a vertical bar design, and the quad headlights sat neatly within chrome bezels, giving it a sophisticated yet aggressive face. And here's something most people don't know. 1980 was the last year the Monte Carlo featured a true pillarless hardtop design before Chevrolet switched to fixed B-pillars in 1981. That alone makes this model a special one. Under the hood, the 1980 Monte Carlo offered a range of engine options. The base model came with a 3.8-liter V6, producing around 110 horsepower. But for those who wanted more muscle, Chevrolet provided V8 options, including the 4.4-liter and the 5.0-liter small block. While these engines weren't as powerful as the Monte Carlos of the early 70s, they still delivered respectable performance for their time. And if you were lucky enough to get the turbo 3.8-liter V6, you got a taste of forced induction power, a rare feature in American cars of that era. But was it fast? Not by today's standards. The V8 models could hit 0 to 60 mph in about 10 seconds, which may not sound impressive now, but back in 1980, it was enough to keep things interesting. Plus, the Monte Carlo wasn't just about straight-line speed. It was about cruising in style, with its smooth ride and comfortable interior, making every drive a pleasure. Speaking of the interior, Chevrolet focused on luxury and comfort. Plush velour seats, wood grain accents, and a driver-oriented dashboard made it feel upscale. And let's not forget the available T-top roof option, which allowed drivers to enjoy an open-air experience without committing to a full convertible. If you've ever driven a Monte Carlo with the T-tops off, you know just how special that feeling is. Now here's a question for you. If you could own a 1980 Monte Carlo today, would you keep it stock or would you modify it? Because here's where things get really interesting. Many enthusiasts have taken this classic and turned it into a custom masterpiece. Some go the lowrider route with intricate paint jobs and hydraulic suspensions. Others transform it into a sleeper, swapping in high-performance LS engines to give it modern power. The Monte Carlo's body-on-frame construction makes it an excellent platform for modifications, which is why you still see them tearing up the streets even today. And let's not forget its presence in pop culture. The Monte Carlo has made appearances in movies, music videos, and even NASCAR. In fact, the Monte Carlo was a dominant force on the NASCAR circuit, proving that Chevrolet's design wasn't just about luxury. It had serious performance potential, too. So, what's the verdict on the 1980 Chevrolet Monte Carlo? Some say it marked the beginning of the end for the true muscle luxury coupe, as fuel economy regulations and downsizing changed the industry. But others see it as a gem, a car that managed to retain its signature style while adapting to a new era. The fact that Monte Carlos from this generation are still being restored, customized and driven with pride is proof that Chevrolet built something special. But here's the real question. How much would you pay for one today? prices for well-maintained. 1980. Monte Carlos can range anywhere from $8,000 to $25,000, depending on condition and modifications. And if you find a rare, factory-original SS model, you might have to shell out even more. So, if you've ever dreamed of owning one, now might be the time to start looking. And that brings us to the final thought. Will we ever see a modern revival of the Monte Carlo? Chevrolet has brought back classic nameplates before. But would the Monte Carlo work in today's market? Imagine a modern Monte Carlo with retro styling, a powerful V8 or even an electric powertrain. Would it still capture the essence of what made the original so special? Let us know what you think in the comments. Would you love to see a new Monte Carlo? Or do you think some classics should remain untouched?